I'm Roger and welcome to the shop, and what I'm going to cover in this little short video is a review of the Rockler FX Router Lift. A lot of reviews are done when something is brand new and new to the person. This particular review is going to be after using this for about 2 years. So I've had a lot of experience with it and I've really put it through its paces. That's what you see on the table right here, and I'll zoom in on it here in a minute. And I'll go over what I like and what I don't like about it. When I was building this entire table saw router lift assembly here, there wasn't really any plan to it. I was just kind of winging it as I went, or what I like to call design build. This saw is a 1975 Craftsman that I've done a lot of modifications to, with a Vega fence, a higher horsepower motor, new arbor bearings, and quite a few things, but that's subject for another video. We're going to cover here is this Rockler FX Router Lift. So overall, yes, I like it. It was a budget oriented and budget driven purchase when I made it. I didn't want to opt for the Pro Lift. I didn't want to opt for the Incra Lift. I've looked at the Craig lifts. They all do pretty much the same thing. The higher price ones have some better features, and the main one being with the ring here that covers the bit. Here you have 3 screws you need to take out to remove the ring, so you can change your bits or whatever. One of the things a little frustrating about this is the tiny screws are 3/8 by 1/4. You can buy replacements. Here's a bag of them that came with one of my other rings. But something else that works is the cover plate screw for like a switch plate or a receptacle plate. And here's one right here. Same thread, but you'll want to get a flat head. These are oval head as they come, but like I say, it's a 632 thread. In a pinch, you can use this, but you do need to flatten out that oval. Otherwise, it'll be proud of the ring. There's other accessories you can get. This one here is for using guide bushings, and this one here is for when you are using large diameter bits that won't fit through the stock ring. With that said, I'm going to reorient the camera and zoom down and show you a few other things about the function of the lift. And when you buy this, you can also buy a routing template if you're building your own table, as I did, and it's well worth the investment. I think it was like $10, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it was even 20, but use that in a pattern bit and you can route a perfect opening in your table. It's well worth the investment instead of trying to lay something out from scratch. The 2 screws that hold this down, I'm not going to actually take this out of the table, but I do have levelers, and I'll try to get a shot of that from underneath the table, so you can get this just perfect with your work surface. For a fence, I use on the back side of my table saw fence, I build a router fence with dust collection, and I'll go into that sometime on another video. I've also routed a T-track here, or I should say a miter track, into this for when I want to use a miter gauge along here, or some other accessory, or even a feather board to hold things over. To change the bits, you take out these 3 screws in the top here. The ring lifts out. You would then use this crank and show you here. It raises the bit. Okay, and etc. until you get it up to where you can have access to the nuts. Another accessory you can buy, I happen to have a DeWalt router underneath this, which I'll show you in a minute on a zoom in. You can buy these wrenches. They have an offset on them, as you can see here, and that will help you. This one here will hold the shaft. This one here turns the nut on the collet. They have them for Porter Cable, they got it for Makita, they got it for different brands. Like I said, this happens to be a router, so I got a 22 millimeter and a 22 millimeter and 19 millimeter. I rarely have to use a 19 because my router does have a collet lock, and I can just push that button in once it's routed up or lifted up enough and loosen and change my bits. Uh, these have a, of course this is pretty beat up as you can see, but it has a little collar here at the top so you don't slip off the nut. I've bumped into the bits a few times, so this one here is a little bit beat up. Your dial adjustment here, there's no real way to zero this, but once you find zero, you can do just a little bit of simple math, and this is done in 64ths of an inch around here, and it is accurate. I haven't had any problem with that. One thing this does not have is a rapid lift like the Pro Lift or the Anchor or the Craig does, or the higher end ones. So yeah, there's a lot of cranking to raising this up and down. But overall, I'm happy with it. After using it for a long time, I noticed that it started to creep down. A very simple adjustment for that, for tightening that up, and I'll show you that when we get into showing you the bottom part of this. Okay, this is the bottom side of the table, and as you can see right there is my switch for turning this on and off. What I've done here, in the closed door, yeah, I store some stuff in there, and I have a reason for having that flat iron, and it's a good place to store it. It's good for quite a few things. I also store my corner gauges in there. My dust collection is back there. You can probably see the port back in the corner. That's connected to my built-in dust collection, and it does a very good job of sucking the dust out of this opening here. Here, I hope I can get this aimed up enough and there's enough light in there. But you can see how the base of the router lift sets. If you can see those screws that stick down through the bottom, that's for actually leveling the table. And once you get your table set and then you tighten down the top screws, they don't go anywhere, they stay put. Your adjustment, if the router starts to walk down on you, is right here. Very easy adjustment. You loosen this bolt, you turn this so it stiffens it up enough that it doesn't creep. I've only had to make that adjustment once, and that was after probably 3 months of using it quite a bit. Otherwise, I haven't had any problems with it whatsoever. That's kind of a view from the bottom. Like I say, there's other routers you can use in there. DeWalt, or the Porter Cable 690 will also fit in there. I just happen to have already had that DeWalt, and it fits in there just perfect. So we'll get back up to the top here. Okay, so my final thoughts on this. After using this for a couple of years, I'm happy with it. This is not a production shop. I do not run production through here. I do quite a few different projects and use it for quite a few different things, and I've really put it through its paces, including running some pretty good sized bits on there. My home built fence here, my home built table, everything works well. Like I said, it was strictly a budget issue when I bought this particular lift. Would I like to have the Pro Lift? Well, yes, I would. Am I going to upgrade to it? Probably not. This serves its purpose. It does what it needs to do. Like I said, the only thing I haven't liked about it is them damn little screws. The Phillips heads on them will fill up with fine dust, and then it's hard to get your screwdriver in there to get them in and out. So I usually have to blow them out with air if they get plugged up too much. I've also got a pretty good supply of extra screws now. This little bag here came with one of the accessory rings, but it wasn't hard to just stop by the hardware store and grab a handful of the little 632 by 3/8 flathead screws. I have found that the slotted ones are a little bit easier to clean out when they get full of dust. I don't know, kind of a moot thing really, but choice wise I would take the slotted over the Phillips in this particular case. Otherwise, that's my review of the Rockler FX Router Lift. Of course, Rockler didn't give it to me. They're not paying me to give a review on this or support them or anything. I do like a lot of Rockler's products. I bought this with my own money, as this is not sponsored. So, that said, I hope you got something out of this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And we're always looking for subscribers, and if you ring that bell on the lower right hand corner of the video screen, you'll be notified when we post another video. Otherwise, until then, thanks for watching. I'm Roger. See you in the next video.